What is up, everybody? We welcome you to another edition of Sports Shack, episode 3. Very, very special Sports Shack because Juan Soto is finally a New York Met. Now, I might be happy, but I know Dennis slash D-Train derailed the boy. Right? Did I get that correct? Right? Derailed
Yeah,
New
sure.
York boy. Somewhat. I got it correct.
Whatever.
I know Dennis is not too happy, but,
Yeah,
you know,
I think people might be a little surprised to hear this. I'm very indifferent on it.
okay.
I'm not happy, but like I wasn't like crying over it. No, I really wasn't. Like when it happened, he was on the Yankees for a year.
Right.
Like people that are like throwing a hissy fit about it. It's like, yeah, you want to hear something crazy? 2023 didn't have him.
It's true.
So it's not like if like when Aaron Judge was a free agent, like if he went somewhere else or like if he went to the Mets, I can understand being mad about it. But like for this, he was on the team for like a hot minute. It wasn't that much. I'm just mad that we gave up Michael King for him. With
Right.
how
I know a
good
lot of
Michael King was
people.
for the Padres. That's it.
Right.
That's it. That's all I care about.
Okay.
Like aside from that, like I honestly don't care. Like if we didn't trade for him and he was like a 1 year rental, like free agency, then I would be pretty mad. I mean, then I wouldn't care at all. I'd care even less. But because we gave up like pieces for him, like, I'm a little bummed out. But it's not the end of the world.
Right. I know it's definitely. I feel like all the Yankee fans feel the opposite of how you feel. From what I've seen all
I
over
don't know
social media, thank God
why. I don't know
I would have
why.
definitely brought in some clips to show, but I'm sure people have already seen
Yeah,
a ton. I think the one that gets me is the one of the Yankee fan that literally is outside City Field,
yeah. Oh,
and
I mean, it is. Let's be honest. Yankee Stadium, outside of Yankee Stadium. Let's not act like it's streets paved with gold. But I mean, he's right. He's
well, I
right.
mean,
City Field's in a literal junkyard.
right, it is outside of a junkyard, but at the same time, I mean, hey, at least it's you know the Queens, the Bronx, it's the city. It's like you said, it's not going to be the yellow brick road from the Wizard of Oz. You're going to get the city. And nothing against the city, but
Mhm.
everybody, when I'm explaining this, everybody knows what I mean. You know, it's like I said, Queens and the Bronx, like I said, and I'll say it again, it's not like it's the Wizard of Oz. We got the Yellow Brick Road and the Munchkins are singing happily, "Welcome to our land." It's different environment. I know, like I said, they got the junkyards in the background. Um, but hey, at least you got LaGuardia, and then you got the beautiful skyline view of the city. It's beautiful. I don't know if you've seen it, but got the club. I guess the City Club. What was the club we were in with Evan Roberts? I don't know if you remember,
I don't recall the name of it.
but you know what? I think it's not the Piazza Club,
No, that's something different.
but that's
I think
actually where
it's
they
just like a
had.
VIP club. Like I don't remember the name of it.
It's actually a really nice section.
It was. It was like this 300s for those of you listening to us. Like we were like
Right,
right below
300 City Field.
the like the commentators, like
Right,
on
literally.
that
I said hi
level.
to Harry Rose, and luckily I didn't get kicked out. I remember Andy Meyer, real quick. Andy Meyer at Plain Edge Middle School, one of my guidance counselors.
Oh yeah.
Um, I remember one time he was at a game and he was sitting around there, and he tried to speak to Harry Rose. He was like, because they were challenging to play, so he went to Howie. He was like, Harry, what do you think? And literally he said a security guard came next to him and like almost kicked him out.
Yeah, I mean, it's different between that.
Right. Luckily Howie like was friendly enough. He was like, I was like, Howie, and he like gave me a quick eye. That was it. I was like, okay. But back to Juan Soto. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, when Yankee fans don't get the way, this is the thing. One of the things that makes, I don't know. It's like a little not hypocritical, but it's like not astonishing, but it's interesting because, like I said, some Yankee fans are like, oh, he's going to be too much money either way. You almost gave it to him. You almost gave that kind of money to him. Same thing
Yeah.
like with the Mets. I know it wasn't five. It was $5 million off. Like I said, it was 760 and then 765. He ultimately decided to go to the Queens side of New York. Um, like I said, people. I guess I don't know if it's such way of trying to. I guess not denial or just trying to like look the bright side or positive thing of it. But like I said, they almost gave just the exact same amount of money to Juan Soto. It's not like this was just, just out there. Like he almost signed for that until the Mets came in later on and swooped in and were like, "Hey, no, come over to us."
It is a disgusting amount of money.
It's insane. I'm in it.
It is almost pathetic how much it is. In general, like, even if we got him, I'd still feel that way. Like this much, really. But I mean, it is what it is. Like, good for him.
It
It
is a
is,
disgusting amount of money. It definitely is. I mean, it's the biggest contract in professional sports. You know, surpassing Watani's by like maybe 60 million. It's crazy that baseball, the amount of money that how much baseball is able to spend, and now people talking about them trying to maybe get a salary cap now. That's going to be a debate I feel like for years to come, and I'm going to get your take on that in a bit.
yeah.
Um, so it's definitely an absurd amount of money. Now, like you said, the expectation is from what Steve Cohen is, you're hoping that they get a championship out of this. Um, when you sign a player like Juan Soto, who's in his prime, he's 26, to 15 years, so all that amount of money, it shows that, like I said, this is a big showing of Steve Cohen. When he bought the team 4 years ago, this was a big showing of his financial, flexibility to be able to flex on all the owners in the MLB and be like, hey, you know, I want, this guy's out there for agency. I'm going to give him all the money that he wants. Max Scherzer was that first instance. That 2021 offseason when they signed all those free agents, Marcana, Starling Marte, you know, Water Escobar, and especially Max Scherzer. Like I said, Steve Cohen showed that, now he showed it this time with Juan Soto. So I think, is this going to bring us a championship? We'll see. But for now, this is definitely one of the biggest moments, probably in Mets history. And so, like I said, it's all going to come down to, like I said, when, like I said, people can celebrate and be happy all they want when it comes to, making the big moves and the free agency. But at the same time, it's all going to come down to like the actual game. Like I said, like I'm a Jets fan. Jets make a lot of moves in the offseason, but does it pay off in the regular season? You win in the offseason, but what about in the regular season? So, like I said, Steve Cohen flexing his financial flexibility. I'll say it again. He showed it with Max Scherzer. Now he was actually able to do it with Juan Soto. And I think the Juan Soto signing definitely changed a lot of the view on how the Mets are looked at now. Jeff Passan even said it, like the Yankees are pretty historic, but and the Mets have always been the Mets. Juan Soto proved otherwise. He changed that up, and literally, you can see the change of the culture that David Stearns has brought in, and what Steve Cohen and his wife Alex Cohen, they want to bring in the type of culture to the Mets where they want to start being like the Yankees, being like the Dodgers, where they want to start winning and building something there, and you could see it coming. You could see it coming into fruition with the Mets, and to me, the Juan Soto signing shows it because it shows how committed that Steve Cohen is, to winning, and he's willing to do whatever it takes, spend how much it is to take. But obviously, it's got to be the right fit, and obviously, they think Juan Soto can do that. Now, David Stern should get a lot of credit too because he's built up a great team. And I also want to say something else too, that if they didn't make it to the NLCS, I doubt it probably would have been more harder for them to get Juan Soto than
Definitely.
it was maybe if they didn't make it to the NLCS. And I definitely want to hear what you got to think about that soon too. But you know, I just I love the signing. I'm not going to rush to get his jersey yet, but it took a while for me to get a Lindor jersey. But I like the Juan Soto signing. It's definitely a lot of money, but I know he has an opt out after 5 years, so it's going to be interesting to see what he does after that. But so far, I definitely think it's a big change in and definitely a franchise altering and definitely MLB altering type move. Thank you, Dennis.
Yeah. A couple thoughts. First off, as far as what it does for the greater the game as a whole, definitely we're going to be seeing contracts go up astronomically. I mean, Max Fried just got the most money by a left-handed pitcher. We're going to be seeing money get thrown around. That's one. Two, as far as like the Mets spending money, I have to say, as a Yankees fan, it is so ironic because all I heard my entire life was Mets fans whining and complaining about how the Yankees buy their championships and they're not real championships. All I ever heard. And now, the second they have an opportunity since 2021, when you were talking about all those moves they made, from that day forward, I've heard absolutely nothing about it. No, yeah, it does feel really good. No, none of it. They just pretend it doesn't happen. The short term memory of Met fans, but they'll be the first ones to nail themselves to a cross about how loyal they are for sticking with this stupid, bad franchise. It's astounding to me, the psychology of Met fans. It really is.
As
Uh,
I'm wearing a Met jersey.
yeah, I don't. You're more realistic than other Met fans are, but I
I try
find
to
it
be.
hilarious.
I try to be.
The second they have an opportunity to start doing the exact same thing the Yankees used to do, they seize the day and they act like they never whined about it for 50 years.
I don't know if
What
I
are you
ever
gonna do?
whined about buying the championships. I don't know if I ever
But
said that.
my thing is it's a free market. Like if you're gonna be incompetent and let your guys walk for nothing or make bad trades, how is that my problem? It's not.
No,
There's
that's
no
very true.
salary cap. And the funny thing is, like the Steinbrenners obviously had money, but there are ownership groups in baseball that have more money than Steinbrenner. Definitely. He himself, George and now Hal, they, in terms of owners, singular, always were some of the richer guys in the league.
Right.
But there are teams that have like ownership groups. Like look at the Dodgers. The Dodgers aren't owned by one person. They're a conglomerate of billionaires.
Magic
They
Johnson's
could
one of the
throw
people,
like
the owners.
Steve Cohen still has the probably, if I'm guessing, the most money in the league. But think about it for a second. If a team had multiple Steve Cohens, that's what the Dodgers have. If
Yeah.
they want to
Sure.
drown you in money, they could. So it's that's why like I honestly don't care. I really don't. Do I think it's good for the like teams are going to be saying how is it good for us like we can't afford players like this? All right. But not for nothing, the teams that do that, do you ever try to even retain your talent? No, you don't. The Marlins just traded Jake Berger. There's rumors that they wanted to trade Sandy Alcantara at one point. They traded Luis Arias for a freaking ham sandwich and a burrito from Street Taco in Wynwood, Miami. I mean, come on. I, you know, I don't think that this is as it affects the greater game as a whole. I don't think there should be a salary cap. There needs to be a salary floor and price out the teams that are unserious. I mean, really, like I understand people are saying like, how are some teams supposed to keep up with that? It's really not hard. It's really not. The Cleveland Guardians had the most consecutive games sold out in the history of MLB and maybe in the history of North American sports. Throughout the mid 90s to like 2012, they sold out every home game supposedly.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of home
That's
games.
a real lot. It was a 12-year span, if I'm not mistaken, or a 14-year span.
And that's
That's
it.
a lot. That's a real lot. Think about that.
No,
And
that's
look
a
at
lot. Yeah,
all the
I agree.
talent they let go in that time frame. It's hilarious. Jim Tomei, Manny Ramirez, Kenny Lofton left. Like so many guys left. Why? Did you try to hold on to these guys? Obviously this is Juan Soto leaving, so it's from the Yankees, so it's not. This doesn't apply at all. But like when these little markets, guys, none of these people are paupers. None of these people are me and you. None of these people are living paycheck to paycheck. If they are seriously need to start looking at the way they spend their money.
Should definitely be hiring a financial planner.
You think? I mean, really. So, like, let's be realistic here. If you want to try to win, you'll win. You know where there's evidence of that. You know what You know what the smallest market in MLB is?
I would assume it's Oakland.
No, no, it's not.
It's
Because
not
they're in
Kansas
the
City.
same market as San Francisco, technically. You're close.
The Padres.
Geographically, you're very close with guessing Kansas City, but it's not Kansas City.
It's Padres.
St. Louis.
Whoa. Okay. All right. So I don't know how. I don't know why I went
Do you
from
know
San
what
Diego
their
to.
payroll's like every year?
I can only
So
imagine.
I don't want to hear it. I'm done. I'm done. If you want to put together a team to win, you can put together a team to win. There's nothing to stop these other teams from getting after it. There's nothing. So for teams that are now worried, like how are we going to afford these kinds of players? Maybe try extending them before they hit free agency. Cleveland did that with Jose Ramirez, and they just extended Shane Bieber for a year. So it's doable if you try.
Right.
Yeah, like I don't as this affects like the league as a whole. Like I think it will in terms of actual salary for players, but as it affects the league as a whole, like oh no, it's going to price out the lower class teams. Why? Because were they trying to win in the first place? What was the Tampa Bay Rays? What's their biggest career free agent signing? Who? Carlos Pena? Are you effing serious? Carlos Pena? I mean, come on. It's like I said, it's unserious. So good for the Mets. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for you know what, Juan Soto. If someone's going to offer me $760 million, I'll take it too. Or 765, whatever it was that he wound
Right.
up signing for. I'll take it too. Good for you. It's a disgusting amount of money. You could live a much as happy a life as that with significantly less. But you know what? He also wasn't offered significantly less. So good for him. Good for his agent, which I think played a massive role in him going to the Mets, Scott Boras. I think that's probably the biggest reason why he went to the Mets. And as far you have mentioned, he has an opt out after 5 years. To my understanding, and I don't know if how accurate this is or isn't. To my understanding, if the Mets offer him $4 million more a year, he has to come back. Like they could void the opt
They could
out.
void the opt out. Yeah.
So, which to me is bizarre why they would sign that. Because now for a difference of $5 million, like the Mets have more control over him. Like maybe he just wanted to be a Met that badly, but I can't really see why. Honestly, the easier path to a World Series is with the Yankees.
Really?
Definitely. If he went back, 1000%. I don't even think that's a hot take. I mean, look at this. The Mets barely made the playoffs last year. Now they have Juan Soto, and they'll get other talent, I'm sure. I get all that. The Braves also had a season from hell. The amount of injuries the Braves, they lost their entire pitching staff. They're relying on 40-year-old Charlie Morton. Chris Sale, who's never healthy, had to win a triple crown.
Just to get there.
Not an NL triple crown, a Major League Baseball triple crown for them to make the playoffs. Even then, they had to play to the cold, bitter end to get in there.
So you're saying the Mets division is more harder, and it's easy for the
Riley,
Yankees to.
no, no, because you have 5 teams in the AL East that are competitive. But the Mets, it's hot, the difference between the Mets, the Braves, and the Phillies isn't drastic.
Right. What I mean
Yeah,
by that
like
is,
something could
yeah.
go there, something could break the Met, against the Mets pretty easily, all things considered. They still don't have a rotation. And in that division, the Phillies have a good rotation. The Braves have a good rotation. So there is, it could be kind of difficult. And then I also think maybe the National League as a whole is a little better than the American League right now in terms of the teams. Again, like I don't know, like if we're making an all-star team, I would pick the American League even with Juan Soto going to the Mets, but in actual like roster construction, I think I'd probably say the National League is a little better
Yep.
because you're going to have the Dodgers and the Padres on the West. the Brewers and whatever team decides to be good for a month before they fall off in the NL Central, and then I'm guessing the Diamondbacks, but I don't know. I think 23 was a flash in the pan, so it could be hard for them to make it back to the World Series.
Yeah,
It could be
no,
very hard, and again, they don't have a rotation yet. Freed went to the Yankees. That's one of the
Tennessee.
big free agents there. Corbin Burns is still available. Flaherty is still available. Sasaki is still available. Like there's still guys that are available for them to try and get, but at the same time too, like then you are going to be talking real money, and they're starting. The Mets are taxed now. It's not like it was for the first 5 years of Cohen owning the team. Like they're gonna have to be getting paid taxes. Now I'm not talking about the luxury tax. I'm talking about they're starting to get taxed federally and state. So that's that's going to be something in there. Like I understand, well, it's not a drop in the bucket for Steve Cohen. Well, I mean, that's he's going to feel it at some point, you know.
He's probably gonna feel it too. Yeah, I
But
think hey, you're not wrong with that. Like I said, the Mets they didn't have an easy path, but they definitely didn't have a hard path, but they didn't also have an easy path. Like I said, like you said, the Braves were hurt, and the Phillies. But I think I think the Phillies finally started to hit their peak, and they made it to the playoffs every year. But always the Braves were in the way, and they won the division, but then they got knocked out in the divisional round by the
right,
Mets. So the Phillies are still a good team. Who knows how the Braves are going to be? Who knows if Chris Sale is going to have the same year that he had the major league triple crown? Who knows how he's going to be? I know they just lost Max Fried, and who knows how Acuna is going to be? I'm sure Acuna is going to be fine, but I'm sure the Braves are still going to be the Braves. They're a good team. They're a good baseball club.
right.
So and like the Mets do need some work, and who knows how the Nationals are going to be? I know the Nationals are going to rebuild, and I don't know about the Marlins.
No, they're horrible. They're going to be
So the
horrible.
Marlins are going to be the Marlins.
They're going to be like a 50-win team, if that.
So and
And I'm not
I
saying
know
the Mets got like lucky making it into the playoffs. Like that's not what I'm saying. Like on our other program that we used to have, Batten and Chatton, that I was high on the Mets going into the
you were
season. So
high on the Mets, yes.
I'm not saying that they were like, oh, let's see it again. No, no. I'm just saying that like you got to be realistic here. Like they made it in by the skin of their teeth. Their roster is not even half complete yet.
No,
You know what I'm saying? And that's good because they have options. But like I was seeing tweets of like they could still re-sign Pete Alonso and Jose Iglesias and all these to get all these guys back in Manaya and be cheaper than last year's payroll. No, they can't. No, they can't. You have $75 million guaranteed to one player, 60 million, 53 million, whatever it is, to one player. No, you can't. How much do you think Manaya is going to get? He's a third runner-up for the MVP, for the Cy Young Award. What do you think? He's coming back for 15 million, like he signed. Jose Iglesias is batting 300 most of the year. You think he's coming back for $500,000 or 820,000, whatever he made last year? I don't even
yeah.
think he made $1 million. What? You think these guys aren't going to get other offers? Your bullpen. I'm sorry, your bullpen's still crap. Your rotation is two players right now. You're gonna like some of it is I get it. You don't have a first baseman. I get it. Be excited for your team, but at the same time, too, some of these takes. Oh my god, let's not start planning a ticker tape parade in the Canyon of Heroes what met orange and blue yet. Come on, let's pretend to be reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think a lot of, from what my point of view, like I said, they obviously they got Juan Soto, great, but what else is next?
Right?
I want
Yeah.
Pete Alonso back, and I don't know if they're going to get Mania back. I'm interested to see how Clay Holmes is going to work, and I know a lot of people.
Rebuild.
I don't, like I said, I know right away people were saying, and I know you were one of the people saying, like, oh, have fun watching him blow games. How's he going to blow games when he's not going to be the one closing them out? I don't know how he's going to be as a
Did you
starter.
watch the World Series? He'll find a way. Where there's a will, there's a way, Brandon.
I'm interested to see how he's going to be as a starter. And I don't hate the idea that if it doesn't work, easily just put him in a setup role to Diaz. I like that. You fill him in the bullpen. Bullpen definitely is going to need some work. I thought they were going to get Jonathan Inglesio,
Loizaga.
Loizaga, but the
The
reports I've
Yankees.
seen were false, and he ended up signing back with the Yankees. I know
Uh,
Nicholas Fry was happy about that.
was.
Um, I saw it on social media. Um, so I'm interested because who knows what Pete Alonso is going to do. And a lot of people telling me that they can get Christian Walker or maybe Carlos Santana. I feel like Carlos Santana would be a good option, a good good cheaper option. They definitely need some of the pitching. I feel like they have a good chance of Roki. Because they said that his they respect and love Jeremy Hefner, who a lot of people are giving credit
Sure.
to the Mets' recent success within the pitching staff that they've had. The surgeons of Severino, of Manaya, and all these other pitchers that have come and gone for them.
Right.
So, I feel like there's a good shot he can go to the Mets. If I had to make a prediction right now, I would say he would go to the Mets. But we'll see. Who knows what was sorry, screw my words. Who knows what's going to happen between now and then January? Because it said January is when he's likely going to sign. Um, so you're not wrong though. There is it's not I know we signed Juan Soto, but there still is more moves to go. I would love to have Manaya back, but I feel like they said there's increasing optimism, but that was like maybe like a couple days ago. I don't know how long that's changed from then. I'd love to get Pete back because a lot of people saying like, what other power do they have? Um, so I don't know. I don't know what because they said the Met no one's going to give him more money than the Mets would. So I feel
Yeah.
like they're just waiting for the Mets to give in and budge, but to being as patient as they can be. I wouldn't be surprised if Pete Alonso doesn't get signed until maybe I don't know. Well, who knows? You never know. I feel like a baseball offseason this year. I feel like it's been picking up, in my opinion, compared to the other off seasons.
Yeah. I want Pete Alonso to go back to the Mets just so you guys could have a lifelong Met for once, aside from David Wright or
No, I agree.
uh,
I agree.
Ed Kranepool. Like, I mean, it's still bizarre. I've mentioned it like a million times. It's still bizarre to me that the Mets have had two lifelong Met players.
Not even Tom Seaver.
No,
Not even Keith Hernandez. Not even Mookie Wilson.
they
Yeah,
didn't
not
even
even those
draft Keith
players.
Hernandez. They got him from the Cardinals
They got him
because of
from the
the
Cardinals.
cocaine
Yeah.
trial.
Mm.
That's how he went there. He got kicked off the team.
I mean,
So,
how can you
uh,
not re-sign P. Alonso? That type of like I said, if homegrown, like you said, homegrown talent,
mhm.
fan favorite. I think it's crazy to me that he was supposed to get traded at one point. He wasn't supposed to be on the team, throughout the whole season, let alone help them get to the NLDS with that walk, that game leading, that go ahead home run in the ninth inning, three against Devin Williams in the against in the wild card series. That was amazing. So I think he
Yeah,
easily won over. It's amazing to me how Met fans went, so cold to like, oh, I can't wait for him to get off the team to like hot, hot and cold, where it's like, oh, what a great guy. Like, I want
yeah.
him on the team
It's
forever. You know what I mean? It's crazy, and I feel like that's what every team is, especially
yeah.
in New York.
I
Teams,
was gonna say that's New York
that's New
sports.
York sports in general. You could be so hot and cold, like where you meet cold, where you want a player to be gone, and the next thing you know, they do something great, and you're so hot in them. It's like changes so quick within a second.
Yeah, I mean, look at Truba. I know you're not much of a hockey guy, but I mean, the fans last year were like, oh, I couldn't stop talking about him, and then this year the season barely even started yet. They're like 2 months in, and they're packing his bags for him. So yeah, I hope Alonso goes back to you guys, man, because like I said, lifelong player. He fits the team. I don't know. There's like rumors that like the Yankees are interested in him because they need a first baseman. I don't know about that, but like I feel like he's more redundant on the Yankees than he would be on the Mets. On the Yankees, we already have big power hitting righties. The Mets don't. So
Right. I know they're saying the Mets need more power than the
yeah,
Yankees do.
definitely. Because I mean, the Yankees have Judge and Stanton. Dominguez is projected to have power, but who knows?
I think
You
this
know,
move definitely, I think it works out for both sides. I know people are saying that this is the Yankees' downfall. I mean, I don't really think so. Like I'm trying to be as realistic as a fan of, like I said, I'm a Mets fan, but like you said, I'm a Mets fan, but I'm also a baseball fan as well. So the baseball side has to come in with me. So like, I know I always say that, and I'm gonna keep saying it. Um, if it was as long as I want to. Um, for the baseball side of me, if I had to be realistic, I don't really think the Yankees are really done with it. It was like, they went out to sign Max Fried. You know, they can go out and sign another they can get a first baseman and, Christian Walker, or like I said, Santana. Maybe even trade for Goldschmidt. Um, and then
Yeah.
like you just mentioned, they could easily put Dominguez in that spot. They have the talent. And I don't know what's going
Yeah.
on with Spencer Jones. Like, where is he?
I think they want to bring him up next year, but I've been hearing, but I don't know. The Yankees, the way they treat their prospects is horrible, but the way they just like I don't know,
I think
jerk them around.
yeah.
But I was hearing like like maybe the Yankees are not Bellinger. The Astros are shopping around Kyle Tucker before he hits free agency. The Yankees are in on Kyle Tucker. Supposedly the Astros want Luis Heel, reigning AL Rookie of the Year. So I mean, like there are options for the Yankees. People are like, like oh now the Yankees are the little brother of New York. No, they're not.
Yeah, a little bit.
If if
Right.
Juan Soto was a free agent from Cleveland, are they spending $765 million? The Mets?
Um,
No, no. You don't think that had something to do with it? Their competitiveness trying to take them from the Yankees. If you have to think that way, then you're not. If you're going to try to use Clay Holmes as a starter, come on,
listen, the pitcher
come
market,
on.
man. The pick, it's not easy.
There's like 19, 20 pitchers better than Clay Holmes right now that they could have
I guess
gotten.
the Mets like something in Clay Holmes that they saw, and maybe Jeremy Hefner could work his magic, and then David Stearns.
Good luck with him.
Um,
Good luck with him. Did you
like I
see
said,
Shamania's stats at the end of the 2023 season?
yeah,
He
yeah.
was phenomenal. For the last 3 months of the season, he was unhittable. So good luck.
I think, like I said, David Stearns sees something in Clay Holmes that maybe a lot of people don't. So I don't know. We'll see
Yeah.
with David Stearns if this move works out for him. Um, but I think this, to wrap up the Soto topic because we've been talking about it for a while. I think this looks good for for both teams, both the Mets and the Yankees. The Yankees can do other stuff that they want to do.
That's true.
The
Rebuild the
Mets
rotation.
with the Mets, this was definitely a franchise alternating move because
Definitely.
Soto definitely proved that the Mets are a destination to want to come and play for. And I don't think people would have been able to say that maybe even last year or even 2 years ago when they or even 3 years ago, you know. So like in my opinion, because like I said, I think it definitely showed that like a player like him could come and like I said, it's a culture that you want to play for. You want to come and come in the clubhouse, and yeah, like I said, so that's why I think it's a great move for both sides. So and we'll see how it works. We'll see how it works. Because like I said, and the Mets are not done. The Mets need to still add some more moves. Like season started today, the Mets will not be ready. We need a first base, and obviously, like I said, it's beginning of the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I love the Soto move. Like I said, a lot of money, but hopefully it's going to be worth it at the end because he's a great player. Fielding needs a little bit some work, but hopefully he can fix up with that. I'll admit it. Fielding needs to work, but
Yeah,
he's one of the best hitters ever to take an at bat.
definitely. The one thing I am nervous about is he played pretty good right field at Yankee Stadium. Now he's going to a much more spacious right field at Citi Field. I mean, there's audio of Keith Hernandez in the Mets broadcast booth kind of letting him have it when he was in right field for the Yankees because he made a few errors out there. I mean, this is a different animal. And I know he was on the Nationals for a while, so he's a little more familiar than I think people are giving him credit for, playing them so much. He's not a very athletic outfielder. He's not. He's pretty slow. Like within 3-4 years, he's probably going to be a DH. Young, but he's probably going to have to DH. That's why people are saying that they're trying to get Vladdy Guerrero. I don't see that happening at all. If you think Juan Soto is bad defensively, you should see those lowlights. But
Low
you
light.
know, I don't know. It's That is a legitimate concern of mine because I thought the outfield for the Mets was one of their strengths. Their outfield being Nimmo, Marte, and Bader slash Tyrone Taylor. Um, I know offensively they weren't always the best, but defensively in a big outfield, were all really good.
Right.
So I guess now if I'm shooting from the hip, an aging Marte or an aging Nimmo is going to play center. Maybe you DH Juan Soto because JD Martinez and Jesse Winker are off the book, and you try to get a center fielder from somewhere. Who knows? Maybe they snatch the Yankees chain again and try to get Cody Bellinger, but then you have a real injury prone center fielder and a lot hinging on them. So
Yeah. We'll see.
yeah, I don't. I'm kind of curious what they do in that regard because either they're missing an outfielder or they're not. You know what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah.
If they decide to DH him, they still have to get a first baseman. There's still the question of like what's going to happen with guys like McNeil that are kind of on the fringe. Is Jose Iglesias going to come back, who was a huge part of their culture last year, both for the fans and for the team itself? I don't know. Um, yeah, I'm curious. I'm excited to see what the Mets are going to do because they do have a lot of questions. They have the money to
Yeah.
solve the questions, and they, clearly a willingness. So I'm curious what they can do, and curious to see what they choose to do. And yeah, like I say, I always want a Yankees Mets World Series, and just want the Yankees to win it.
I would love for the Mets to win it.
Yeah, that's
Like I
yeah,
said, like I said, I think it pans out really for both teams because, like I said, Yankees could do more. The Mets, like I said, the Mets, um, like I said, you have a player like Juan Soto who wants to, who obviously got the bag, as they say,
Mhm.
Scrooge McDuck type bag. Me, you know,
Quack quack quack.
um, the Warren Buffett type bag. Well, in
Yeah,
sports, I'm not saying he has 100 billion, but this is a big. That's what this contract kind of feels like, you know. Um, but like I said, he chose the Mets, and like I said, I think it shows that, like I said, it's the Mets are going to be more of a destination for free agents to come here now. Like I said, they're going to be fighting with the Yankees and the Dodgers now for future free agents, and so you know, like I said, it's going to be. I think it's going to be really fun. Like I said, I'm very happy that Juan Soto's a Met. I'm excited for pitchers and catchers already, even though it's not even New Year's yet, and I'm excited to see how. I'm excited to see him in right field and see how the team goes. So yeah, so yeah, that's I guess that's what I gotta say about that. And so to end the Juan Soto discussion, I just gotta bring up this. It's front page of the Daily News, a brand new start. Oh, wait, hold on, get rid of it. I like that. Look at that. That's beautiful, in my opinion.
yeah.
And yeah, that's it. So I know so the Yankees just got Max Fried. I know they signed him for an 8-year, $218 million deal.
It's like a 27 AAV.
Okay, that's not bad. I mean, that's pretty
Yeah,
good.
it's good. The
But
most ever by a left-handed pitcher.
yeah, and I know you said the other day to the chat that this was something about him pitching Yankee Stadium. What was that again?
Oh well, the lefties have always been very good on the Yankees. We could go back to Whitey Ford and then like Ron Guidry, and I mean the left-handed starting pitchers at Yankee Stadium have always been extremely good. Uh, Save for like one or two, like Randy Johnson was a bust, but whatever, he was like 40 at the time. And I'm not surprised that they decide to move on to a lefty rotation here. I mean, they're almost all lefties aside from Cole. And
And you got Stroman too.
yeah, well, we can get rid of him. I'm not crying over that.
Okay.
But like because typically teams want to load up righty on lefty, but left center and left field at Yankee Stadium is very deep. So it's a lot more awkward than I think people realize. They take the short porch over and right, but left, it kind of balances itself out. Left center is, I mean, they call it Death Valley for a reason. Um, so it makes sense. It's tactical.
Yeah.
Worked for Andy Pettit, worked for CC Sabathia, you know.
Yeah.
So
All right. No, good for good for the Max Free. And like I
it
said,
makes sense because
thank you guys for taking him out of the division for us.
you're welcome.
I know that was definitely a tough pill to swallow for the Braves. I know he was definitely key for them in winning the World Series back in 21. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So yes, and I know there's a lot of free agents going around. Still a lot. The winter meetings was definitely. I don't know if it's ended or if it's still going on, but I know there's a lot going on. Um,
I think it ended today, if I'm not mistaken.
so engaged. I know Cone reading on MLB trade rumors. Cone says the Mets are still engaged with Alonso. I feel like if I had to make a prediction, I think he'll come back to the Mets. And if he doesn't like what he's looking for, I think he's probably going to get a short-term deal where he has an opt-out. So if he does better than he did this season, he'll get the bag more next year than this year.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I know Corbin Burns is still out there. Let's see. Nathan Eovaldi officially
Yeah.
returned to the Rangers. That was a good
Oh,
deal.
really? I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was a 3-year deal too.
Okay, good for Nathan
So
Evaldi.
good for Nathan Eovaldi. Very great pitcher. He's been around the league for a long time. So definitely something that was good. Um, let's see. I know Andres Jimenez got traded. I know that was a big that was I think that's pretty important because he was a big piece in the Lindor trade that came
Yeah.
over. He just got traded to the Blue Jays. So I think he's definitely more known for his defense because I don't know, he was a 3-time Gold Glover. I think 2-time or 3-time, either way. So I think it was definitely a pretty good deal. Um, because like I said, the Blue Jays got a great defender, and so I liked him when he was on the Mets for a little bit. I was surprised when they traded him, but obviously I think it definitely worked out better than everybody thought it would have. Um, why? I'm curious about the Giants because I know they got Buster Posey now as running the show over there. Um, how big was that when they signed Willie Adames, and what are the moves do you see them making?
They're desperate. They're throwing anything at the wall to see what sticks. I mean, honestly, they'll take whatever they can get. They don't have a clear direction there. They should be rebuilding.
So you think it wasn't a good idea for them to get Willie Adames?
I don't know. You need to sell tickets.
It's true.
I mean, really and truthfully, because it was such a fun year. But that 2021 wound up ruining them
That was when they won
because
100
they thought
games.
they were so much closer than they were. Really. And it was so fun. And going into that year, I don't know if you remember or not, because I don't no, we weren't even on college radio anymore. But going into that year, I was really high on them
You were.
because I watched them in 2020. I used to work nights. I'd get home and watch MLB Network, and they were always on every night. I would watch the last 3 innings of Giants games. So I was like, this team, there's talent here. It was a 60-game season, but there's something here. Then the next year, they obviously had that insane year that I was the only one who saw it coming. I didn't see them winning 100 games, but I saw them,
Yeah.
giving the Dodgers a run for their money. And then after that, it was like they were always like desperately trying to play catch up. And, they should be rebuilding, man. Get rid of Mike Yastrzemski. Get rid of all those guys. Like, try to rebuild. From 2007, I think I saw a stat. They've had 18 straight different left fielders on opening day. Like, they just don't have. I don't get it. I don't understand them.
Yeah.
They have Logan Webb, Blake Snell didn't pan out. Like, they're trying their hardest, and it's just not good. They brought in Jung Hoo Lee, who's good, but he got hurt. Like, it's, oh man. And to top it all off, like, you have the Padres and Dodgers in your division. Oh, and the 2023 World Series runner up. Like, tough sledding ahead.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right.
They're they're a weird team. Good luck. Good luck to the Giants, but I don't think Willie Adamas really does much for them at all whatsoever.
Okay. Well, we'll see how that pans out for them at the end. Only time will tell. Is there anything you want to talk about more in baseball before we wrap up to other sports? I know we've.
Uh, Nothing that I really saw. Oh, Dave Parker and Dick Allen got elected into the Hall of Fame. This was a couple days ago by the Classic Era Committee.
Okay.
Congratulations to them, Dick Allen and Dave Parker, excellent players.
Congratulations to them, Scott.
Dick Allen, one of the best players of the 60s and 70s. Dave Parker, one of the best players of the 70s and up until like the early mid 80s. So good for them, man. Good for them. Dick Allen unfortunately passed away a couple years ago. Dave Parker is in bad shape of Parkinson's, but still alive. So hopefully he can enjoy it come July and can give a speech. I don't know what his health would be at that point. I've heard, like you hear updates and stuff like that with players. Like sadly, just I don't want to derail it too much, but Ryan Sandberg's cancer came back and it's not looking the best.
I saw that. Yeah.
But I like to see I don't like seeing Hall of Famers get inducted posthumously. I want them to have their moment.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's true. Actually, real quick. Actually, yeah, no, I think that's it. Yeah, definitely Hall of Famers. Baseball players getting into the Hall of Fame. Any player getting into a Hall of Fame in any sports should definitely have the opportunity to enjoy that moment when they're alive, not posthumously. That's because that's not right. Come on, like you said, let them have their moment. But yeah, I think that sums it up with baseball. I know there's a lot going on in football. I know tomorrow ESPN is releasing a 30 for 30 on the New York Sack Exchange. That included Mark Gastineau, Marty Lyons, Abdul Salam, and Joe Klecko. I gotta forget about that. Shame on me, and I'm a Jeff fan. I don't know if you recently saw Dennis, but one of the clips that everyone's talking about on social media is how Mark Gastineau is, confronted Favre face to face about him purposely diving to give the sack to Strahan for the sack record because Mark Gastineau previously held the record. And before you give your thoughts, I want to play the clip for the viewers, and it does show the sack. I want to shout out the New York Post. Actually, let me play this right quick.
I thought we met a long time ago. At least I saw you.
Right.
How you doing?
When you fell down for him. I'm gonna get my sack back. I'm gonna get my sack back, dude.
You probably would hurt me.
Well, I don't care. You hurt me. You hurt me. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
You really hurt me. You hurt me, Brett.
We got to get back to this, Brett. I'm sorry.
Anybody will tell you Brett Farve took a dive. And you know it. She knows it. He knows it. And everybody knows it. I didn't know what had happened. The NFL should have stopped that and said, listen, no. That's not a sack. He took my record away from me.
Mark Gastineau's record of 22 sacks in a single season, which he achieved in 1984, stood until the final minutes of the 2001 season.
Strahan gets the sack. And you know what? No one's happier than Brett Favre. He gets the record. Well, he got to give me is what he got.
There was nobody else that wanted Michael to get that more than Brett, and he showed it right there.
So like I said, shout out to New York Post for that. So definitely a lot to unpack there. I think it's crazy. When I watched that clip for the first time, I thought Gastineau was like joking at first. Like, when Michael Jordan and Larry Bird, they see each other in The Last Dance and, like that type of interact. I thought it was like that, but he was actually he was serious. He's like, yes, you took my sack away from me. And Favre was kind of like flabbergasted. He was kind of like beside himself. He didn't know what to do. This was apparently at like some type of sports memorabilia show, not Fanatics Fest like we went to. Which actually came out with like the dates for it next year. We'll talk about that later.
Oh.
But yeah, no, I was shocked. I was shocked. Like I was like laughing at first because I was like, oh, like right. But then he actually was like serious. I was like, oh, so definitely a lot. I feel like when you look at the sack, I don't know. was there really anything? And like I said, was there anything really Favre could have done? Strahan was right there. He was going to get him. I feel like maybe I don't know. Maybe Favre could have maybe thrown the ball away or try to maybe do a better job. But Strahan was kind of right there. He was gonna. I mean, he was right there. So I feel like what did you want Favre to do? And I feel like Marty Lyons even comes out and said he said something about him being selfish and all that. I don't know. Like I said, what are you gonna say?
Continue, because you're the Jets fan here.
Like I said, I'm one of the biggest Jets fans you meet, and I'm also one of the biggest football fans too. So like I said, the football side of me, the realistic football side of me is coming out too as well. Like I said, was there anything Favre could have done? Honestly, like Dennis, if you look at that, like the play I just saw, like, do you think Favre could have done anything, or like?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I mean, he awkwardly, it was almost like he slid. Like, it probably shouldn't have been considered a sack.
What was that?
It should, I'm a Giants fan. It shouldn't have been considered a sack. I'm with Mark Gastineau on that. A little weird to confront him the way he did. Didn't somebody have 20 sacks in a 14-game season or something like that? Isn't there somebody better than Mark Gastineau?
I'm not sure.
Didn't somebody do it in less games than him? Not 22, but have a higher sack per game rate. I've seen this. I swear I've seen this before. NFL sack records. Single season. I think this is it. Oh my God. Can we just have it? Why do we have to make this so hard?
Nah, it's all good, man. You're good.
All right. That sacks are considered unofficial by the NFL. So that's a big part of this.
1981 was when they became official stat for the first time.
Right. So Al Baker had 23 in 1978 for the Lions. He's not whining. Gastineau did it in a 16-game season.
I feel like Favre could have maybe done a better job of, I think, I'm just give it to him like that.
Oh, listen.
Right.
The way the media always treated Brett Favre was way different than any other quarterback I remember, even at the time. When you listen to that clip again, listen to the commentators. Oh, there's nobody more happy than Brett Favre. Instead of talking about Michael Strahan's achievement, they talk about Brett Favre.
Right.
I don't understand the media's infatuation with the guy. I really don't. I heard he's in bad health. I don't know him from a hole in the wall personally. Obviously.
I think he is in bad health.
Yeah.
I hope he gets the full.
I hope he gets well soon.
Yes.
And no, I don't want to make light of anything, but the guy also defrauded.
Yes.
Defrauded a state. Was it Mississippi?
I believe it's Mississippi. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah. That's.
Come on. The media always protected him. Like, he sent inappropriate pictures to a reporter, and there's it happens. Like, there's Brett, like the gunslinger. Why did you keep it in the holster there? Like, come on. The way that the media always talked about him, I always hated.
Yeah, no, like I said.
So I honestly kind of don't blame Mark Gastineau for being a little mad. The way he confronted him, totally awkward. Thank God I wasn't there for it. I can't hide it. I can't.
Yeah, I feel like it's tough because, like I said, we're not in Mark Gastineau's shoes. We're not the ones going out there. Like I said, he played in an era of football that was way different than today's game of football. So you know what I mean, and I give him credit for that. He was definitely one of the hardest and toughest football players to ever play. And he was great when he played. The sack exchange was great. And so he was, I think, it's like Klecko, Gastineau, then Lyons, and then Adu Sablam, who rest in peace. So like I said, credit to Mark Gastineau. Like, if you worked hard for something and then it was given up kind of the way. It's like when in fantasy football, like, I'm hoping that another player doesn't get as much points. Like, I'm hoping to win, so I could, and then, it's like when you're up by like a 1 point, like a 0.1 point, but then that player kneels and you lose by by 2 points instead. You know what I
Sure.
mean? I'd be upset too. Like I'd be furious. So like I said, with Mark Gastineau's situation, like I said, you know, could Farve have, like I know Strahan's kind of right there. Could Farve have done anything? Like I think he probably should maybe kind of thrown it away.
Maybe he should. No,
Should have
honestly, he should have just taken the sack.
or just maybe try to run, like and just do something. So Gastineau's not totally wrong.
He should
I
have
think
taken the sack because he didn't take it. He didn't get sacked. He didn't. He laid down, and Strahan awkwardly had to fall on top of him and get credited for it. It was horrible. Good for Michael Strahan. And the player I was thinking of was Reggie White in 1987, had 21 sacks in 12 games.
Yeah, Reggie White was insane, man. He was great. Rest in peace to him
So
too. But
that's what I
so
was
like I
thinking of
said,
earlier.
I hope, like I said, I hope Brett Favre though, because I know he's in bad health. I hope he's getting healthy needs.
Yeah.
I believe Mark Gastineau too. I think he's been having some health issues too. So I hope he gets good health for himself. I don't know what specifically it is, but like I said, I hope he's getting the good health and treatment he's been getting. He's supposed to get. But definitely crazy. I'm definitely excited to watch that documentary though, because like I said, I'm a Jeff fan, so that's going to be definitely something I'm going to want to watch. But definitely crazy. Just it's this moment where it's like it's glad you weren't there. So like I said, but definitely. I guess that sums up that. Lot going on in the NFL. I know there's been a lot of stuff going on there. Let's see. I know the Rams just lost tonight. I know we're recording right now on Thursday night. The Rams
The
just took down
49ers.
they just beat the Niners. I believe the Rams are now 8-6. That improves their record. Let's see. Yeah, they're 8-6 now. And so I feel bad for the Niners. It's just not been a good season for the 49ers. They've had an injury-riddled season because this roster was definitely a Super Bowl contending team, and now it's just been an injury-riddled team. So that sucks about that. And so, so that sums it up for that. But you look at the Rams and what Sean McVay's been able to do with them. Shout out to Kobe Turner. Obviously, Kobe Turner recently was on the Masked Singer. Both of you has a great voice. I actually heard it. I was watching a clip. I wish I had it. Maybe I'll show it to you another time. But they said he's kind of filling in like that Aaron Donald type. So, good for him. And I'm definitely excited for this weekend. The Jets are officially eliminated from playoff contention. It's not a shocker. 14 years going on. So, that basically sums it up for that. Derek Carr is out now for the rest of the year after he fractured his hand last week against the Giants. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I did see that. I mean, I hate to see it. I like Derek Carr, but gosh, what a season from hell the Saints had. My goodness.
Oh, holy crap! I just realized before we wrap up the show, Bill Belichick, he is now the coach of the University of North Carolina. He is now going to Chapel Hill, taking over as head coach. He's making the transition from NFL to college after taking a year off. He is now officially going to be the head coach of the Tar Heels for what is known as a basketball college. He is now going to try to make it both basketball and football. Maybe make it football. Maybe he's going to, I don't know. This deal is a 5 years, $50 million deal. I know he brought in Michael Lombardi to be the GM of the college, which I didn't know colleges had GMs. That's going to be interesting to see. I didn't watch the press conference today, but they said that Belichick is not eyeing a return to the NFL. He said he didn't come here to leave, and I think one of the clauses I saw was that if when he does leave, that his son, I believe his name is Steve Belichick, he's going to take over as head coach. So I think it's definitely crazy. I'm definitely interested to see how it's going to go because, like I said, this is a whole nother ball game. This is not the NFL. I think it's interesting to see. I know they play UCF, so I definitely want to go see that. I know one of my friends goes there right now. Shout out to Chris Muse. They play them, so I definitely want to go down there and watch. That'll be fun. I think it's just crazy. That's going to be interesting. I feel like college football is definitely changing the whole landscape. You got Deion Sanders coaching Now Bill Belichick is making, so a lot of people didn't take it seriously now when Belichick was saying like when the UNC talks, they thought it was just leverage for NFL teams to kind of talk to Belichick. No, he was serious. He's like, no, I actually want to. I'm coming here to coach the Tar Heels, and I want to change the program here. I believe what I heard a stat today. I was watching a Pat McAfee show that they only have one 10-win season, I think, since 1998. That's ridiculous for college. So it shows that Belichick is going to come down there, and hopefully he's going to change that. So, I think when I was watching the show, they said it definitely changes a lot of the one of the aspects of where like kids want to go to college. When they look at North Carolina, they're going to say like kids are going to want to go to the NFL. I think what the University of North Carolina is trying to set out is that hey, if you want to go to the NFL, like come to University of North Carolina because there's no other coach that can help you get there than Bill Belichick, one of the all-time great coaches. So it's definitely an interesting move, and I can't wait to see how it folds.
Yeah, I'm curious for the sideshow of it. I hope that the players that he's coaching, they get the most out of it, and they're not, a casualty of his ego or the program's ego. Good luck.
Yeah, definitely. So it's definitely going to be really interesting how that's going to go. And no, I'm definitely excited. I think it's definitely a big move. And so yeah. I guess is there anything else you want to talk? Any last thoughts before we wrap up?
No.
All right. All right. I'd like to say thank you to anybody who's listened and watched this. I'd say thank you. Hope everybody has a great weekend. This is Sports Shack here. I'm Brandon Talley, along with Dennis Tui. And I hope you guys have a great night.